Hello, everybody. Joseph Reed here with Singing News. So pleased to have you with us wherever you are listening to or watching this. I have a special guest with me. It's Jonathan Rose. He is with BlockTrust IRA. They are supportive of this great music that you're listening to and watching throughout the Singing News brands. Hello, Jonathan. Welcome.
Well, hello, Joseph. Thanks for having me on today. Pleasure to be here.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I think the goal here is I'm excited about what you guys do at BlockTrust IRA, and I just want to introduce you to the listeners to let them understand exactly how BlockTrust can be beneficial to them. So, first, let me introduce you a little bit, Jonathan. You've worked previously with Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley. So, what kind of led you to start BlockTrust IRA and to focus on crypto? Because crypto has become very popular, especially over the past few years. So, what led you on this journey?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, as you can probably tell, I don't have a lovely Nashvilleian accent like yourself. I grew up in, if I got that correct, you may have to correct me there. I grew up in London, England. And I was very fortunate at an early age that I worked on what's called the LME, the London Metal Exchange,
Hmm.
where I was trading, base metals, copper, tin, lead, zinc. Next to me was the
Hmm.
precious metals market. It was very exciting. Fortunate enough to work some big, giant American banks, Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch.
Hmm.
Eventually ended up consulting for even AIG, HSBC over in Southeast Asia. So I've always been in the financial markets. And the funny thing about the financial markets, you see how it evolves. And a good example of this is when I was in the trading pit where it's like utter chaos. Everyone's wearing their little golfing jackets and they're shouting and yelling at each other. So
Yeah.
back then, when I was much, much younger, I used to get a ticket and I'd run around the other side of the trading pit and try and put it in the trader's hand. And they were yelling and we're trying to argue over price and settlement. Well, 5 years after that, then the computers really started, kicking it up a gear. You didn't have to do that anymore. Then everything started being settled electronically. And then we had the birth of obviously the internet and how everything just started growing through data and more data. And we've seen like the evolution of not just technology over the years, but then you look at money. And when you look at money and you look at the US dollar, we are so in debt, like $36 trillion in debt and climbing. People are concerned that the cracks are showing, and they're concerned that this fiat money is going to come to an end. And when you look at the facing forward technology sector, banks now are shifting over from like just general bank wires and how they interchange money into electronic forms using cryptocurrency and companies that can provide moving monies that much quicker. And then we've seen the birth of cryptocurrencies. Now, when cryptos first came out and I was introduced to them in 2014, I was one of those hands up guilty. I was one of those naysayers, like I'm not sure if this is going to last. Even though I had friends in the industry that told me this is the future, I just wasn't quite sold. And I feel like people like myself that then have that light bulb moment and see the light. We definitely understand now that this is the future of money. Fast forward with the kind of iPhone moment that cryptocurrency is having, which we can really thank President Trump for because his current administration is very, very crypto friendly. President under the Trump administration, they want to make America the US crypto capital of the world, and they've been doing exactly that at extremely fast speeds. We now have assets like Bitcoin, and I'll probably refer to Bitcoin a lot because it's kind of like the gold standard, the digital gold. They refer to it as well now, where they call it more honest money. Bitcoin is now being added to the US Treasury. They're now passing these laws. There's a bill that passed just very recently called the Genius Act that talks about stable coins. And it's not just about tokens, it's about infrastructure. And I think the main point where you keep seeing these breadcrumbs dropped every week, every month about the crypto market is that these crumbs are kind of making a loaf. And you need to understand that the adoption of cryptocurrency, the adoption of the future of money is here to stay. And it's the future that you can kind of be a part of or not be a part of. And when I kind of saw that and realized that the future of money is heading digital, I kind of fought it for a little bit. But then when I realized this isn't just a fad, this is the future, that's when I decided, you know what, I want to be a part of this crypto revolution because I was noticing the biggest wealth transfer in history currently taking place. And still to this day, people are a little bit confused, right? With cryptocurrency, how do you buy it? Is it something I should invest in? So it's a very exciting time for the crypto community, but it's also an exciting time for people that are waking up and understanding that this is the future of money and they want to explore their options, within the crypto community themselves.
Mm. Very good. Well, first, I'm very impressed with your knowledge and your background, which is very important, especially when we're introducing you to the Singing News audience and what we like to call our family here in gospel music. So I think that it's important to note that you are extremely valuable when it comes to the knowledge of finances. So you mentioned crypto. There may be some people who don't understand exactly what crypto is or how it works and how it can relate to retirement. So can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, simply put, cryptocurrency is referred to as decentralized finance. So we're moving away from the money printing press. And with money, as you know, we can keep printing more money as we like. In fact, that's why we're so much in debt. Right now, there's a lot of political baggage with it. With an asset like Bitcoin, and I refer to Bitcoin again, even though there's other coins, but it's kind of the gold standard, is a fixed supply, 21 million coins. There's never going to be any more coins minted. So we know there's a fixed supply of this coin out there, and it's turned into a global asset. It's not just an asset that's traded here in the US. It's now traded and fully adopted worldwide. And I think what people they don't have to understand the kind of intrinsic value, so to speak, of it, but I think they need to understand how the governments and banking sectors are passing these laws and regulations every single day, because these laws and regulations being passed are kind of like the pillars, the foundation, the roof. And it's a new asset class that's here to stay. And people are still realizing, hey, I can put this in my IRA, I can put this in my 401k. In fact, President Trump was very vocal just last month, because under the Biden regime, you were not able to put even cryptocurrencies in a 401k. Now they're actually promoting, and they're telling businesses they want to have employees have cryptocurrency in their portfolio. Why is that? It's because the pension system, they're running out of money, they're not getting the returns that they want. And people are looking to kind of break those financial chains and build a nest egg, an everlasting nest egg. And when you look at the future of money and how much debt the US has, then people start looking for alternatives. So alternative investments could be precious metals, which I also believe in. But one of the other alternative assets out there that's at the forefront of technology and growth is cryptocurrency. So that's why it's very important for people to understand kind of how the money system has derailed. It's going to a new set of train tracks, and what that means for businesses, the economy, and how investors who want exposure to the cryptocurrency of the market, either through their retirement account or through their cash savings, how they can be a part of this, transfer of wealth that's currently underway.
Mm. Well, we are here with Jonathan Rose of BlockTrust. We're talking about how BlockTrust IRA can help us with our retirement and savings. So with cryptocurrency, Jonathan, there's a narrative out there of people who say it's risky,
Mm-hmm.
and it can make people a little skittish when it comes to learning more about it, which is really why you guys are here. And you offer a free book, you offer all of this information to make people feel secure about it. So I want you to touch on what you can say about what you could say to the listeners or viewers who may say, well, it's a little risky, and not only that, but the safety of it. Because when
Mm-hmm.
people think of cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, not only are they, you know, speculative about it or skeptical about it, but they may have concerns about the risks of it
Yeah.
and the safety of it.
Absolutely. That's two great questions, and I'll kind of tackle the one. One of the reasons why we created BlockTrust IRA was so that people can purchase cryptocurrencies safely and securely. And we carry a $200 million insurance policy, and we keep digital assets, what's called in cold storage. And people are thinking, what does that even mean? So it's basically unplugged from the net and kept compartmentalized, excuse me, in an area that cannot be hacked. So we have, 100% success rate of securing assets, and we're that successful, we're able to have an insurance policy for those assets, and people can purchase over 60 different cryptocurrencies with us. Second question I get is, well, isn't cryptocurrency volatile? And I say, absolutely. The crypto market up until now has, and probably forward moving, is inherently volatile. And when you buy cryptocurrency, and I'll mention Bitcoin again, there's only been one strategy available, and that's called the buy and hold strategy. Now, a buy and hold strategy may be great for, an asset like gold. You can throw it in the safe and forget about it. But the important thing with cryptocurrency is it's a market that doesn't sleep. There's no opening bell and closing bell like I was used to. It's traded 24/7, 365. So that means you could be asleep. China could invade Taiwan. President Trump could sign an executive order and it could send the markets up positively or down negatively. And that's important to know, because the buy and hold strategy, if you're investing that way in cryptocurrency, not to say it's wrong, but if you do that, you're going to lose the race. And what makes us so different is that we have award-winning AI. We were voted the #1 trading fund out of 1,500 global funds out there. These are like billion-dollar funds, and we got voted #1 by Bitcoin magazine. So what does our AI do? So this doesn't mean that you're giving your money to a robot, and it's Skynet and they disappear. What AI does is it gives us the ability to quantify data, and data is very important when you look to an asset like Bitcoin, because it's globally traded, many different assets, many different languages you have to translate. You have to look at what we call the on-chain data, how many people are running out the back door selling or coming into the market. You have to look at investor sentiment, GDP growth, social media chatter, weather. I mean, there's many different factors that where AI is quantifying data. And why that's important is because it would probably take you and I 11 billion of our brains to kind of, quantify all this data in a millisecond. AI does it for us with award-winning precision. And by doing so, it lets us know when we need to be in the market and out of the market. And this AI, this award-winning AI, it's only been available to the elite, the hedge funds. BlackRock have been using AI for many years, but we're now able to bring the sophisticated AI down to the retail market. So people like you and I who have IRAs or 401ks, but want to invest that into cryptocurrency, we now have a massive advantage. And that advantage is, it's like a roller coaster. When it goes up, everyone loves the price action of it going up. But if we see the dip coming, we're able to identify some of those alerts through our AI software and say, well, let's step off this roller coaster right now. Let's sit in cash. Let's wait for the roller coaster to drop, avoid all of that volatility and then buy back in. By doing so, that does two things. #1, it mitigates that downward risk, that volatility. So we're kind of cutting the drawdown. And two, it lets you buy back in at a lower price, which is one of my favorite things in investing, because that's called compounding. So mitigating risk and compounding, that's how we beat the benchmark. So now where people say, well, isn't it volatile? Yes, crypto is volatile. We now love volatility. Volatility is our friend. And we want that, and that's how we beat the market. So that way we check, being able to purchase cryptocurrencies safely and securely with having insurance tied to it. And then two, being able to mitigate that downside risk and purchase more coins and have the power of compounding to grow your portfolio. And that's what makes BlockTrust IRA so different, because we're first to market. So you don't just have to do a buy and hold strategy. You can beat the market with our award-winning AI out there and have the security and safety of knowing that your crypto is also safe.
What you just heard is a reason why BlockTrust is #1 out of the 1,500, as Jonathan mentioned right there. The advantage of having the AI side of things in a volatile market to be able to readjust and readjust quickly. in real time is such an advantage. So, Jonathan, I'm 51 years old. I know it's hard to believe looking at me, but 51 years old, and there are a
Nearly the
lot
same
of,
age.
oh, really? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, there are a lot of people that may be listening. They may be in their 60s. They may be in their 70s, and they're kind of curious about
Mm.
crypto, curious about Bitcoin, but they may be a little hesitant to move forward, even to get information about it and move forward. What would you say to them?
I'd say education is key with any investment. I think really what separates us from the herd is not just the fact that we have these award-winning strategies, and we've got mass media knocking on our door, talking to us daily, but we're based here in the US, and anyone that may be listening that already invests in cryptocurrency, if you call a support desk, unfortunately, you end up overseas speaking to a foreign person. Okay.
Right.
Everyone here, customer service, support, traders, everything here is US based. So I think that gives people a sense of ease. But more importantly, I'd say, education is key because we're in this crypto revolution right now. It's the future of money. I picked up this book. It was given to me. It was written by a pastor by the name of Alan Armstrong. It's called The Bible and Bitcoin. I wish I could say I wrote it. I didn't, but I read it. It really resonated with me. And it's a theological journey exploring human time, energy, and Bitcoin, and why Bitcoin is the future of money. So I believe we have a link. I think it's singingnewscrypto.com. You can correct me if that's incorrect, but I'm going to be offering this book absolutely for free, shipping included, for people that want an education on Bitcoin, because that's where it all starts. And then obviously when they go to Singing News Crypto, they can learn a bit more about cryptocurrency, the importance of diversification, the security that we have, why we're first to market and getting heaps of praises on our AI technology. And understand that when people do invest in crypto with us, it's hands off. A lot of our clients, they're retired or they're still working. There's no levers to pull or buttons to push. This is all managed professionally for them. They just get to sit back and relax and have the worry taken out of it for them, but they still get to enjoy this kind of new exciting market and have exposure to what the future of money looks like. And again, I always kind of defer back to what our current administration is doing, because they are making the US the crypto capital of the world, and they're not doing it by not sharing with the general public. That every step that the current administration is doing, they are showing us with arms wide open. And I think that's very important, because they're showing us, how to succeed, how to get rich in cryptocurrency. And we're kind of, streamlined, following that path directly behind, but obviously with the safety measures and the correct protocols in place.
Hmm. Very good. So think about that, guys. What BlockTrust is willing to do right now is, if you go to singingnewscrypto.com, singingnewscrypto.com, they're going to send you a free book. And with a lot of these type of promotions, they'll say we'll send you a free book, but you'll pay shipping and handling. They're even going to cover the cost of that, and that cost just keeps going up. So this is how passionate they are about this. They're willing to send you this book, The Bible and Bitcoin, which I reviewed a little bit of it, and Jonathan, I was just honestly a little taken back by seeing the comparisons from Scripture as it
Mm.
relates to the financial future, and as it can relate to being able to depend on cryptocurrency and Bitcoin as a part of IRA here. And if they're Singing News fans, people who have been with us a long time, they say they come to you and they want to sign up, and they want to say, hey, they've learned, they've been educated, which you say I think is important, by the way. Jonathan is saying we want you to be educated. So that's someone who's saying they care enough for you to be able to make this decision with good stewardship. So they want to help you get educated, not only by this book, but by answering any questions they have. So let's say through this process, someone from our Singing News family wants to sign up with you. What can you offer them?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're so confident that through our AI managed accounts that we make our clients money, that we're actually offering a 2,500 up to $2,500 funding bonus in people's portfolios. And people say, well, how do you do that? And it's
Wow.
because we're not giving away free money. It's because we know that we make our clients money. So we're that confident that we succeed and win in our strategies, that we offer up to $2,500 funding bonus when they come on board with BlockTrust IRA.
Mm. That's fantastic. Guys, get more information. Go to singingnewscrypto.com, singingnewscrypto.com. And I know we've just kind of laid a small foundation for people, A, to feel more secure in getting more information about this, knowing some of the processes of how this is a safe way for you to be able to invest in Block Trust, and with their state-of-the-art softwares and programming to be able to assist us in this. Because this, Jonathan, as you know, when it comes to people our age, this is something that we take very seriously, the future of our money. And what I appreciate about Block Trust, not only do you care about the Singing News family, which you have said many, many times over, how you really want people to be educated and learn more about this process, but you're willing to put your money where your mouth is with this $2,500 bonus, which is incredible. So I encourage everybody, go to singingnewscrypto.com, like I did, and learn more about how they can help you. And how, by the way, we're talking about something very important to all of us, the future of our money. And who else better to talk to than someone who cares about the gospel, who cares about the Christian believer, and Block Trust does. Jonathan, thank you for being here. Any last words on your part, brother?
No, I really appreciate you bringing me on. And I think it's a whole new world to a lot of people. And maybe they've been a little hesitant up until now, or they just needed to find this type of information so they can educate themselves. They're hearing about Bitcoin, they're hearing about, cryptocurrency is the future. Well, through Singing News, obviously you're able to help your audience and your listeners out there. And I'm just very proud and blessed to be a part of it with you. So thanks for having me on today.
Well, thank you. I hope you'll come back, Jonathan. So you're going to get a free book, including shipping and handling is covered, at singingnewscrypto.com. Jonathan is holding it right there for you, The Bible and Bitcoin. And guys, it's very informative. This book is free. So read about it, learn more about it, and go to singingnewscrypto.com. And you can learn more about not only that book, but more about BlockTrust IRA. And we're so pleased to have you guys as part of our family, Jonathan. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joseph. God bless.
God bless you.